course, I have directed a lot of comedies over the years, and I'm always looking for the next comedy that can outdo the next. And I thought, well, there's not a lot of comedies that are labeled adult comedies, and so I thought I would start that genre. Well, No Sex Without Toys was the first play I had written, and I struggled with writing it because I had not written a play before. Um, I struggled because I had the idea. I knew somewhat where the story could go, and I talked to a friend of mine that really encouraged me to put things on paper, right or wrong, just get it on paper. And it was such an encouragement that I drove home thinking about the characters more, thinking about how they would interact with each other. And when I got home, I believe I put the script out in about 4 days. And of course, there's been many rewrites, there's been a lot of research and more rewrites. Um, and then I put it on the back shelf for a long time. I put it on the back shelf because it deals with sexuality, it deals with adult toys. There's no nudity or sex at all, but there's a lot of scenes that allude to that happening. And so I've had to be really careful how I craft the language around that and how not to offend a certain group of people and not offend my audience members, even using the toys. Um, so it was on the back burner for a long time, and then I brought it back out. I had won a couple of awards writing other scripts, and I started feeling really good about it. And I revisited the script, and I thought, okay, maybe I should rewrite it, knowing now what I know about formatting the script properly. And I had workshopped the play when I finished it. I received a lot of feedback from my actors and the audience that I had present. Worked it again over and had another workshop experience maybe 6-7 months later. And some of the material had changed because at that point we were talking about transgender, uh, transsexuals. Some of that language has changed in our society that some of it they found offensive, to be quite honest. And so we changed some of that, massaged it, and now we have a non-binary character that kind of spoke to the script a little bit better than a transgender character would. And even with the non-binary character, we've had to rewrite the script several times because some of that culture has changed. The pronouns have changed, and we want to get it right, and we want to shed light on all people and how we can all love whoever we want and it doesn't impact anyone else. And a non-binary character really changed that for us because it allowed somebody to live a life as a male gender and a female gender or neither gender, and live their life and be very happy and show other characters within the script that was okay. And I hate to say help normalize being non-binary, but just make an awareness that there are people that see themselves differently than some other people do. I see myself differently than my non-binary friends do. But we love each other, we understand each other, and we accept each other. And I guess the biggest lesson came down to it doesn't impact you what anybody does in their private bedroom or in their personal lives. I hope what I do in my life doesn't impact somebody in a negative way, but I want to give everyone that right to live their life the way they feel that they should live their life. So there's been a lot of discussion over it. There's been a lot of changes over the dialogue, over the terminology, because it's about awareness too, lifestyles and not shaming lifestyles. Um, I was really nervous. I've had a lot of friends. I have family members that are gay. Um, that I understood because I grew up with that. Thank goodness I grew up with that. I grew up at a time that coming out as gay was a big deal. It was a major announcement. It was very fearful for a lot of people. It was life changing for families that it shouldn't have been. Um, and then when we finally transitioned to writing a non binary character, um, I didn't know a lot about it. And I guess I'm ashamed to say I didn't know enough about it because it's very new to me. But I'm also very proud of the fact that I have embraced non-binary people and their lives and acceptance of their lives, as it doesn't reflect on me and it doesn't reflect anything on them. They're just living their lives as they see best for them. And I have a lot of friends that I have met along the way that they go by a non-binary status, and um, I've had to use learn pronouns that were appropriate for them, so I didn't insult them to keep them close to me and pull them into my family, because I try to love everybody first, and I truly wanted it to be more inclusive. And there's not a lot of plays out there that include non-binary or transgender people, so I'm trying to help put that out there and make a statement to show people that maybe like myself that didn't have an understanding that there's nothing wrong with exploring and living your life the way you see best for you. Doesn't matter what gender you are at all. Well, I would say it is an adult comedy only because of the toys. The visibility of the toys is the only reason I label it as an adult comedy. I wouldn't want to bring, teenagers to this without the family knowing that there are toys present. Outside of that, I think it's very funny. I think it's very comical. I think the audience is going to love my characters. The actors that I have are phenomenal. Um, they're some of the best actors I've worked with, and they are embracing these characters wholeheartedly. And we're all having to have an understanding of what those characters are and where they are in their lives and the way they express it and the way they discover. And it's really about lack of communication between two couples. The husbands and wives have failed to communicate their sexual needs at home. And so our non-binary character, Aaron, suggests to the two guys, while they're complaining about not having satisfaction at home, that maybe they should try to help each other. And this is quite comical in its scene that, they're pretending to play golf all the time and they're actually just sitting at the golf course drinking. And while they're there doing that, the wives have actually been exploring with each other. And so it's kind of a little turn of events that the husbands have been trying to stay, true to their wives and not wanting to cheat. And the wives have already kind of beat them to that. That's what it is. It's a comedic approach to adults not communicating some of their most human needs in life, and giving a chance to explore that and a chance to re-explore that and come together, understanding that they failed. There's a lot of people that are very open in their marriages that, maybe have already been doing activities with multiple partners with both sexes over the years. And they look at it different. They look at it maybe as being bisexual. Maybe they've had threesomes where they've kind of explored some of these activities, and yet they still kind of look down on somebody that maybe is, not conforming to what those people think is normal as being a man or a woman or straight or um and they have found their, you know the non-binary people are free to love whoever they want, and that's kind of the point. And we all are free to love whoever we want, but society doesn't always allow that to happen. There's a lot in society that says, it's always about a man and a woman. When you get married, you should have kids, and I think that there's a strong message right now that that's what some people in our society wants to go back to, and have that be the only thing that's accepted, and take rights away from individuals that have found love with people who they connect with. And I don't think we should ever have to be forced to marry by standards of society. I think we should be free to love whoever we want and marry whoever we want. And though the story isn't totally about that, it's an important message within the piece of this play that I'm trying to get out as a message, because the story really is about, these two guys to find happiness at the end of the show, and it was always with their wives. And our non-binary character, of course, is very happy. Um, it was tough at first because the title of the show, "No Sex Without Toys," that put some people off, and it intrigued others. Um, it was really tough because they know that it's a risky move for them to be involved in an adult comedy, because theaters don't ever push the envelope to this level, I would say, to take a chance on one, new work, and two, dealing with sexuality and having it displayed in front of them, and not be a porn. It's not, rated X by any means. There's, like I say, there is no nudity. These characters have fun with it, and I want the audience to have fun with it, and hopefully go home and have a great conversation in their car about what took place, and maybe have their own conversation, and maybe a come to Jesus moment of their own relationships, if you will, to kind of do a check-in. I think as a playwright and a fairly new playwright, I've been writing now, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years, and I have written many, many plays, and it is very tough to get your local theaters to produce new works because it is new. They don't know how the audience might respond to it. The audience doesn't have anything to grasp or read about it ahead of time except for what you put out. There's nobody talking about it yet because it is new. It's a financial risk for a lot of theaters, and I understand that. I've ran several theaters of my own. I've been an artistic director, and I've always encouraged doing new work, at least one new work, either within a regular season at a theater or in an off season. But not all theaters do that. Not all theaters are willing to take the financial risk. I've sent my plays to a lot of theaters, and the feedback that I get locally is it doesn't line up with our productions for the year, or we don't do new works. And some of them say they don't do new works, and they do new works. And so maybe they just don't like my content. Maybe they don't like my plays. But they're not all adult comedy. Only one of them is. The others are standard comedies and dramas. And so you find yourself in a battle of, okay, well, I have to make sure that my work has been seen, that there's an audience for it. And so you have to invest your own money and hopefully get other producers to assist you in producing your work, renting a theater and putting your work out there for the world to see. And hopefully they will come and they'll support it, and they'll take that chance, and maybe they'll discover something new and fun and have a great evening out. I can almost guarantee you're going to have a great evening if you come and see this play. Just know that there are toys present. If that offends you, then it probably isn't the show for you. But there are toys present. They're not used on anybody like that, but they're there. They're there to make a statement. But I think most people will enjoy the show, and I wish other theaters would start taking more of a chance on new works and local artists, especially, because I think people want to support local. We do it in the grocery store. We do it when we buy clothes now. We're wanting to do it when we buy automobiles. So we should also be doing it in a theater and art. We should always try to support local first, because that's how we all grow as a community. It's how we lift people up within our community. Well, next it gets packaged up, and now that the script has been scrubbed through the rehearsal process, and there's a few changes we've made since, because once you stage your work, you find some of the things that you put on paper doesn't quite fit. And so now it'll go back to another rewrite to write it as it's will be seen on the stage, with new notations and a few adjusted lines. And it hopefully then will be published, and it'll be available to theaters throughout the world. I have 2 more plays coming up that will be staged in the Portland area. I'm working with another production company to do another play, and unfortunately it's not named at the moment, but it will be in November. And the theater we're tying down at the moment, we have a theater, but we're not sure that that's going to work out. And it's a 3-person play about a mother and a daughter that have been very estranged from each other. And they live 2 different lifestyles completely. And it's not an uncommon story of a mother-daughter relationship, that may be one that's challenged. And the daughter's husband is the 3rd character, and he is the comic relief between those 2. And through him, the mother and daughter are able to bond with each other and start loving each other. So it's kind of a dramedy, if you will. It's there's a great drama at the beginning, and it ends with a really fun comedy. The other one is the Golden Years, and that is a group of retired women that run their own home, if you will. And they hire usually they want to hire a gentleman to come take care of them, to cook for them, to clean for them, to drive the van for them, to take them all around. And they're kind of a nasty bunch of women. They decide to put each person to the test. And this poor guy has to go through the hoops of their faking that they're deaf, thinking that they're in worse shape than they are, and they really put him to the test. Well, he catches them in their act and turns the table on them. And it's a very funny comedy. That'll be next spring. And then I've taken a break from playwriting, and I'm working on a novel at the moment, a historical fiction novel. Well, I have a personal Facebook where I post a lot of stuff just under Doug Sellers on Facebook. I have an Instagram account, same thing, and I have Broken Toe Productions, which is the media company that my wife and I own. And all of the plays, if you want to follow along, will be on the brokentoe.com website. And I also have a Doug Sellers Writer Facebook page, and I have a Substack page and Instagram. I think I said that. So yeah, follow along. I really hope that you come see the play and support the local actors that are in it, that are just absolutely brilliant and hilarious, and support new work by a new writer, and give your feedback, your honest feedback. I would love to hear it.